Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the live stream. Yes, yes, it's going to be an interesting evening. So I got a new toy, uh, which is I have a soundboard here that I can do all sorts of stuff. And the reason for this new toy is we have officially launched our podcast. So the podcast is called Sweat and Grime. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Pocket Cast, basically any and all podcast platforms. You should be able to find Sweat and Grime now. That's Rick and I's podcast. But a quick side note of this cool new toy, I can do sound effects now. Yeah, like that.
Got him!
That's awesome. That is amazing that I can do that. I don't know that I'm ever going to practically use them here in the live stream, but I do have the option.
Mango tear? Put it in reverse, tear!
And that's pretty slick. I think this is the one I'm looking for.
What? You son of a
No,
bitch.
that's not the one. But anyway. And apparently my audio is not going to work in my earpiece tonight either. So I'm kind of totally winging it. But I do want to thank Richard Vincent here in the comments, because he managed to stumble across my Diesel and Iron private email that I test things on and everything. And he managed to subscribe to that channel, and he was in my live stream where I was testing things, which thank God, like I told him, I didn't do anything embarrassing like burst out into song. But yeah, I do appreciate you hanging out and helping me dial in the audio, because we were getting some weird echoing stuff, which, by the way, if you do hear some echo, I'm just going to apologize. I can't really do anything about it tonight because I ran out of time. But anyway, yeah, thanks for all being here. I do appreciate it. I'm excited to speak with you guys just because I like doing the live stream. It's a good time. So I do want to address Sosa. Sosa had a comment in here from hours ago, so I'm sure he is not in chat anymore. But we are excited to have you in the trade, Sosa, who says he is applying for Local 150 in Illinois. That's awesome. I hope you were able to get in. That's great. Dim Sum, hey, thanks for hanging out while you tidy up your garage. I appreciate that. That's pretty neighborly of you. Richard, again, thank you. Good to see you here in the regular channel. Shane, Lever Monkey, how's it going, brother? How was your week? I don't remember even what video it was you posted, but it looked like you got into some stuff this past week. So, let's see here. Won't lose your man card by reading the directions. Maybe get a middle school kid to help you. Yep. Mine was only when Facebook would take for a dummy account. Learn things from my excavating channel. It never ceased to amaze me how many amazing tricks there are for all the different facets of earth moving. 100%. That is what I love about this industry. You never stop learning, ever. It's just every day you will pick up some new little tip or trick that you didn't know, and it's pretty awesome. So, yeah, cool stuff. So, Lil Skechers, holy hell, and Dirt Boss, my God, look at the guys we got coming out of the woodwork now that the season's starting to slow down a little bit. I haven't seen you guys in a while. It's good to see you guys. So, yeah, it's going good. We've got all sorts of stuff popping. So, and Nick's in here too. And look at this, Nick. I actually have my own version of a girly drink tonight. Now, it is still far manlier than your little Pink Whitney bitch drink, but still, we're going for the peach tonight. And I'm actually pretty dang impressed with this. So, I'm originally from Texas. Shiner is kind of one of those things you drink because you're from Texas. You have to drink it. But this is actually, I'm pretty impressed with it. For a peach, for a flavored beer, it's pretty good. So anyway, to kind of Colton Farms, how are you, sir? Good to see you. So for those of you who haven't been on the live stream for a bit, we've got a ton of exciting things going on. So there are some things that I can't really talk about yet going on in the background that may or may not involve a show. And that's all I can say because I have signed paperwork saying I cannot say anymore. That's really exciting. Another super exciting thing is we just launched this past week Sweat and Grime. If you go to iTunes or Spotify or any of your podcasting apps that you use and search for Sweat and Grime, you should see the podcast up there. We officially have our podcast. It is live, and it is awesome.
That's what she said.
Yes, that's what she said. So my favorite sound effect out of this whole sound panel, you're probably going to hear that one the most because it's just an amazing sound effect I have at my fingertips, and I'm going to use it all the time. So anyway, we've got that going on. We've got, man, I'm trying to think of what else. There's just been I don't know, the tail end of the season here. Like in the moment, I'm forgetting all of the things that are happening because so much has been going on. But yeah, just a lot of exciting things. YouTube is starting to shoot back up. Dirt Boss, I don't know if you've seen it on your channel, Shane, you as well. I don't know if you guys have noticed that the guys are starting to come and spend a little more time at home. So view counts are up, videos, subscribers, those are all starting to take an uptick. So that's pretty exciting stuff. So yeah, it's been a really, really good evening. So, Brandon, let's see here. Well, let me go back up here. So Doom, got you. Hey, been missing the lives. Yes, Dirt Boss. Brandon, let's go mining for gold. So Brandon Culpepper here in the comments. Brandon and I were speaking the other night through Instagram. We've decided we are going to, just recap with me, Brandon. We're buying a new D11. We're going to buy, your Volvo, and I think that was what, a 390 for, I don't remember the model number of the Volvo that you're wanting to buy for the hoe. We're gonna buy a couple off-road articulated dumps like the Volvo A60s, and then let's see here. What else were we buying, Brandon? We're buying a crap load of equipment. We're gonna go mine some gold because we have a lot of wealth apparently, and so we're gonna go buy those things and just start painting for gold. So yeah, Ryan, thanks for stopping in, man. Good to see you. Nick, yes, it is peach beer, and these are not just any peaches. These are hill country peaches, brother. I am from the hill country, so these are peaches from my homeland, and they are delicious in this beer. Richard, Bud Light. I mean, it's like, it's canned water, man. It's canned water. I can't do it. Still can't do it. Colton, no, still no more scale models. I'm still waiting for you guys to donate to Patreon or something. I need to set up a Patreon. Now that we have the podcast, I need to. But no scale models because I don't have hundreds of dollars to go sink into little trinkets for my shelves back here. We'll get there, guys. When the riches from YouTube start flowing finally, you're going to know because this shelf back here is just going to be packed to the gills. Let's see here. No, Dirt Boss, I would have loved to have gone to the expo. But unfortunately with everything that I got going on right now, there was no way I was going to be able to travel down there. And so unfortunately I had to skip out on this one. So, but at one point in time, I will make it to one of those expos and I will shake your hand if I haven't come to work with you first. One of these days we're going to get together. Let's see here. Dimsum, winter brings the D8 back on site for ripping the frost. That is one unfortunate thing about living in the north, is when winter comes along, you got to start fighting frost, and it is miserable. I don't miss, excuse me, because we're drinking beer tonight, that's going to happen a lot. I'm gross. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't miss working over the winter time because ripping frost is just miserable. Look at that. Oh, Brandon, did you see that? We got Dirt Boss coming to join us on the Gold Rush, which means now we're going to split the equipment 3 ways, right, boss? So I think this just got a lot more affordable for all of us. So, you know, no big deal. We got this. Yeah, Volvo 750. That's what it was, Nick. We're doing the Volvo. Oh, no. Brandon corrected me. The 950. We're not going to settle for your little piddly 750, Nick. We're going with the real man machine, which is the 950. And we're going to let Brandon run it because I think out of all of us, he's got the most seat time. And we're going to let Brandon run the 950. And in all honesty, we can make a YouTube channel just to that. And I think we would go pretty far. So, let's see here. Are Caterpillar machines gray market in Europe or are they the same thing? So it's kind of a similar situation to gray market machines here. Gray market doesn't designate which country it's supposed to be in. It just designates that a machine isn't supposed to be in that country. So if you took an American machine and put it in Europe with all of the Americans' emissions packages on it, which, yeah, in all honesty, I think Europe is more stringent, at least within the EU, I believe. I could be totally wrong. But I want to say that within the EU, their emissions regulations are actually stricter than here in the US. So there is a good chance that if you took an American machine over to Europe, it would be considered a gray market machine over there because it's not going to have the correct emission stuff on it. So let's see here. Looks like a freedom drink. You know what? I'm going to assume that that was not a negative comment on my nice little peach beer. You know, it is a freedom drink. In fact, here's how you know it's ultra freedom. You see that right there? The little Texas? Yeah. Like Texas is the America of America. So you take your America people and you run those people through a pot still like you would any sort of fine spirit. And when you distill down the America crowd, that's when you get Texans. And so yes, this is a America drink for sure. Let's see here. We got Dirt Boss on board, so we're getting way more affordable on the equipment. Nick, the other day I was screening dirt for topsoil, my buddy, and felt like Parker, Shannabelle, and Gold Rush. Yeah, you gotta screen him for that gold, baby. Yes, Nick, mud season. Mud season is in full swing here in Michigan. I don't know about you guys. We spent the week before last was literally 4 straight days of rain. We got some dry days. We had I think only 1 day of rain last week. So we did manage to dry out a fair amount. And then beginning last night, we got more rain through. It's been raining throughout the day, all day here. We're supposed to get rain through tomorrow. We're full on mud season now, and which means at the end of every day, you get to shovel tracks. So I have shoveled so many effing tracks. Luckily, I'm running a little 130 on the job that we're on right now. And so the tracks aren't too big. But I will say we're in that like nice heavy clay so that when you pack those tracks full of mud, it's like concrete when you're trying to get it out of there, except like wet concrete. Like it suctions onto your shovel. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the enjoyable mud. You'll love it. It's not fun. Ryan, getting sick of the mud already and it's hardly even started. 100%. 100%. I am already sick of the mud and we just started mud season. So Dennis, what's going on, my man? Hey, by the way, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. I meant to reach out in the comments the other day and then got super swamped and didn't have a chance to circle back. Really sorry to hear about your father. If there's anything that any of us can do here within the comments, absolutely reach out. I would love if you would like a meal or something. If you will private message me your address, I would love to do like a DoorDash or something for your family if you guys would like. So really sorry to hear. But that being said, I'm super happy to have you here on the live stream. Really glad to see you. So Colton, hopefully we don't have gray market machines in your fleet. Real super quick check is just call up to the local dealership and ask if they can run the serial number. And if they can find the serial number in their system, you're good to go. So generally, if it's a gray market machine, you'll have the inability to pull that serial number up in the system, or there will be other indicators like when the piece of equipment that came through customs, it generally gets a sticker, and so if one's made for Europe, it will generally have something from a European country on it. So these are just a couple of the ways that you can check, but the easiest one is run that serial number by your dealership and they should be able to pull it up. So let's see here. The new cat logo is called the Modern Hex. I'm gonna be honest, I have not been the biggest fan of the new cat logo. I thought it looked ridiculous when it first came out. It's growing on me slowly, but I'm still not the biggest fan of the new logo. I don't know. I like the old school logo. It was a nice clean logo. It looked good on the equipment, but that's just me. Nick, rain weekend, so muddy week. Yep, 100%. Yeah, not looking forward to this week. Luckily, we don't have a whole lot going this week. I think we've got a P-Stone shooter truck coming out to P-Stone the center of this basement that we just dug and wrapped up. Excuse me, like I said, it's going to happen all night tonight, guys.
What? You son
that's
of
the
a...
wrong
Mango
one.
tear? Would it revert, tear?
Yep, I don't even know which sound effects are on which button. We're going to discover this together, guys.
That's what she said.
That's the one I was looking for. That's what she said. Anyway, I'll quit playing with my toys.
Why are you the way that you are?
That's what she said.
Yep. I need to stop. We're gonna ruin the live stream because I'm gonna just sit here and say that's what she said over and over again. So, all right, don't touch the sound effects. Let's see here. Lucky you just finished Dirty 30's Dust Bowl job on a sand road. Ooh, boy. I'd take dust over the mud though. that's kind of where I'm at in life. I would rather suck it up with the dust than be caked in mud and wallow. Like, we're calf deep in mud with the amount of rain that we had this last week or so, and it's not fun. I don't enjoy it. So I prefer my cousin's tactic, which is let the clay dry in the tracks, so then it's like chiseling concrete. You know, that that's a good strategy in theory, until you actually shovel it, and then you realize what an idiot you were, which I'm sure your cousin does all the time. So yeah, definitely get it out. In fact, I do the opposite. If I've got that real thick, heavy mud like we had, I'll go track through mud puddles for 5 or 10 minutes and really get that stuff sloppy. So at least once you start working it free, it kind of oozes out and you can get it all out, as opposed to trying to hammer away at freaking thick concrete. So, Nick, snow is coming in like a month and a half for you, because you live up north like a goofball. Like, why would you live that far north? Michigan is as far north as I have a desire to live, because I don't want snow any more than we get. And I'm gonna say, I don't know, this year is gonna be a weird one, I fear, with how wet it's been and the crazy weather patterns we've been seeing this year. I'm kind of afraid to predict what the snow is gonna be like. In fact, I'm about to go get my snowblower serviced, because I haven't pulled it out for like the last 5 or 6 years, because I haven't really needed to. I'm kind of worried that this year might be the year that we are going to pull the snowblower out a lot. But still, that being said, I bet we won't see snow here in Michigan until probably January, if I had to guess. That's the way it typically is. So yeah, that whole month and a half thing, no thank you. No thank you. Went to the cat dealer last Monday, and 3 cat die-cast models: D11, 323, Next Gen 308. Yeah, but what did that set you back, Colton? Like, that was like 3/4 of what you made that week, probably, in wages, because those die-cast models are so effing expensive. That's the problem with those die-cast models. I love them, but they're flipping expensive. Phil, my man, good to see you. As always, good to see you. Let's see here, Dennis. Thank you, meant a lot. Cut a ton of firewood for my mom today. The equipment was handy to save our backs. Ooh, yeah. Cutting firewood, that'll wear you out, man. No joke. That's anything having to do with timber that is exhausting work. Sean, we already started tuning up the snow fighters for the season. I know. Luckily here in Michigan, I've only seen about 1 truck drive down the street with a plow on yet. And those are the guys that always crack me up here in Michigan, because there's always like those 1 or 2 contractors that are just like ready to jump the gun. And it's like, dude, you got at least a month. At least a month. But at the same time, it's kind of one of those, like, you're starting to see the beginnings of what's coming. Like, the edge of the storm is here, because you're starting to see plow trucks. I'm just like, ugh, I hate snow. I hate it. Anyway. Ryan, I'm with Brian. I think we're far enough north. Yeah, 100%. I don't want to go any further north. You can keep the ridiculous snow. I will come up there if I want to snowboard, or if I just feel like I would like to walk through snow for a day, and then I will migrate back to the south where I don't have to deal with it. That's about my feelings on snow. Brandon, 1 inch of rain is equal to 1 foot of snow. I've heard that a ton. And I don't know. I feel like that might be one of those like wives' tales, like daddy long leg spiders are the most poisonous spiders on the planet. They just are too small to bite you. Little known fact, that's actually a wives' tale. I thought it forever, just like everybody else, and then I actually educated myself on the internet, because that's what the internet's for, and come to find out that's all false. So I kind of wonder if that 1 inch equals 1 foot thing is also one of those falsities that we've just been told our entire lives, and it's like learning Santa Claus isn't real, or if it's actually 1 inch equals 1 foot. I'm curious, but not curious enough to actually go do the homework. Nick, yeah, at least all of the metal plows are ready, only the loaders need service. Yeah, that's a whole other aspect of working for a contractor that does snow removal in the winter. You guys are gonna have to excuse the snot too. Like, we've talked about it before, we're in that time of year where the temperatures are fluctuating all over, which means my allergies go nuts. Anyway, but yeah, working for a contractor that does snow in the winter, like, this is the not nicest part of the year. because instead of getting to kind of like wind down and cool down from the season, instead you're rigging up plow trucks and you're servicing loaders and you're getting everything prepped. You're pulling all of the freaking pushers out and getting them, ready and staged. And no, like, this is the part of the season where I want to be taking it easy, knowing my hours are backing down and it's not going to be as difficult. And which one of you guys is that? Brandon Culpepper. Damn it, man. We are in the middle of a live stream. Sweet Jesus. Take your sweet nothings that you're trying to whisper in my ear and save them for after the live stream at an appropriate hour, Brandon. Sweet Jesus. Hey, Richard, you got to honor the wife, man. Don't need to apologize. You have yourself a lovely evening. Thanks for hanging out and thanks for helping me prep for this. Have a good evening, man. Let's see here. Cold Farm, have you seen those Ventrax before with the snow plowing attachment? Yes, I think I know what you're talking about, and they are pretty interesting machines. What are your goals for 2022? That's a great question. I want to get over this winter. I want to get the YouTube channel to over 30,000 subscribers. I think it's a lofty goal, but at the same time, I think that's a pretty attainable goal. I want to get the podcast monetized, and get, around 10,000 downloads an episode. I think that's a pretty decent goal to work for over the winter time. This background project that I'm working on that I can't discuss, I would like to get that up and off the ground and have that be successful. That's another goal here for 2022. And then who knows? I mean, Rick and I have, and I've talked about it before on here, Rick and I have kicked around doing some sort of a training program, whether it's an official school or if it's just he and I kind of arranging to have people out in batches to train. We've talked about doing that. I don't know if we could get that up and off the ground sometime next year. So there's all sorts of stuff that's going on, especially behind the scenes that's kind of out of your view. There's a lot going on, and who knows how it's all going to shake out. Let's see here. Nick, no, it's my buddy's company for the snowplow. But you're still working at the buddy's company, so you're still putting in the hours. Like, my point still stands, Nick. Even though, you want to argue all these little...
What? You son of a bitch.
You're going to argue all of these fine details with me, and yet the point still stands. You're not winding down on your hours. Instead, you're prepping snow equipment like a loser. And with that, I'm taking another drink of my girly beer. Oh, okay. Brandon says I need to check it. Probably because it's a dick pic, isn't it? Don't send me dick pics. Don't. 13 inches. That's what it pulls up. We just have the whole conversation about it's probably a dick pic, and the first thing it says, like, no joke, 13 inches. Come on, focus. Yep, there it is, 13 inches. But thank God it's not a dick pic. So on average, 13 inches of snow equals 1 inch of rain. Huh. Well, I can tell you right now, from the year that we've had so far here in Michigan, we're going to have like 15 feet of snow, because this fall has been unbelievably wet. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Nick, excavation's still going 60 hours a week. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's, yeah, I don't miss those hours. I really don't. Shane, we're finally down in the 80s. Ooh, look at you guys starting to... Boy, that's like t-shirt weather. Like, you can legitimately put your t-shirt back on instead of your wife beater you've been wearing around. So, yeah, that's, I don't miss that. In fact, today, excuse me, there it is again. Oh, there it is again. I think we're done. I think. No, I was actually looking, my parents are down in Texas. I wasn't done. I'm sorry. Hey, Dim Sum. Thanks for hanging out, man. Go enjoy dinner. We'll catch you on the next live stream, buddy. No, I was looking. We've been running this in the 70s here in Michigan the last week or so. We had one day that popped up to like 82 or so, but then we've kind of been in the 70s. And then I was looking down in Texas where I'm from, and it's still 85, 87 degrees. And I'm sure it's similar for you out there, Shane. It's just unreal. I don't miss that heat. I really don't. Anyone going to the GIE Expo show? I'm not, but maybe someone has. Maybe someone will. I don't know. Have you run a Cat 988B before? No, I have not run a B series 988. In fact, I don't even think I've ran one of the newer 988s now that I think about it. I think the closest I've gotten is I sat in a 980 for like 20 minutes, just loading a truck out. And that's the biggest I've gotten on loaders. So, Ryan, 2 weeks ago alone, we would have had 6 feet of snow in 2 days. Yeah, exactly. We've had a crazy, I think we got, what was it? It was like 4 to 6 inches of rain that we got in that 3 or 4 day stretch. So yeah, that would have been, yeah, feet of snow. So, yeah, not fun. Nick, yeah, that's the nice thing. I will say that is the nice thing about pulling those hours. It sucks while you're doing it until you get that fat paycheck on Friday, and then you're like, well, it didn't suck that bad because this is pretty slick. E-Fix, what's happening, my man? Did you end up checking out American Pavement? I'm laughing because you're holding my feet to the fire. I've got my notepad here in front of me that I wrote that down on last week. But this past week has been such a crazy, ridiculous week. This notepad never actually made it upstairs into my office because I had a bunch of other stuff. We launched our podcast this week, which I'll come back to that. But it's been a crazy week. And so, no, all that to say, I am sorry. I will do it this week. But I did not check out American Pavement yet. So I promise I will this week. But going back to the reason why, we launched a podcast this past week. So if you go to YouTube, sweet Jesus, I've been doing the YouTube thing so long. If you go to iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Casts, any of those podcast applications and search for Sweat and Grime, you will pull up our podcast. It's Rick and I. We have 3 episodes out, which is why I didn't have time for anything. We cranked out 3 episodes so that you guys could get a little flavor for what we're trying to put together. So yeah, that was primarily what I worked on this week. Was I got all of the podcasting gear in, had to get it all set up and dialed in, and then Rick came over and we've recorded 3 episodes so far. So Tyler, advice for a young operator who can't run an excavator but is really familiar with the work. Best piece of advice I can give you is accept the fact that while you can run an excavator, the best way to learn is not in the seat of an excavator. Go hire in at a small to mid-sized company and tell them you're okay laboring, that ultimately you can run an excavator and ultimately you do want to run the hoe or any equipment, but you're good with laboring, and then go spend a good 6 to 8 months on the end of a shovel learning the trade, and you'll know all of the ins and outs of what you're doing within that 8-month period as far as that particular type of work. So if you hire on with a company that does road work, you'll know road work really well. If you hire on with a residential company, you're going to know residential work really well. And then if you want to learn different facets of the trade, all you got to do is go apply for a company that let's say you want to go learn underground. Go apply at a company that does underground and do the same thing. Hey, ultimately I'd like to move into a machine, but I don't mind laying pipe for a year. That's no big deal. And you will be able to find work, and you will 100% get your education. So, let's see. Shane, Colton Farms got to run a 988 for a crush plant. That would be a good time. Ultimately it would get super boring. But for the most part, yeah, that would be fun. Just saw Colton's taking off. Hey, good to see you, man. Have a good week. Brandon, how's it looking for getting a JCB on the job site? Considering that I'm putting 0 effort into it at this point in time, I'd say it's not looking very good, Brandon. We might have to buy one to go along with the D11 and your 970 or whatever you've got coming out, 495, whatever the model was. I don't know Volvo numbers. Maybe we'll just get a little JCB backhoe that we can play cleanup with, and if it doesn't work out, we'll smash it. We'll crush it with the D11. We'll just run it over. So, food for thought. Dan B, do you know how versatile loaders are on backhoes attachment wise? They are semi-versatile, Dan. You can do brooms, you can do snow plows, you can do and I'm trying to think of what all attachments we hate. Forks. So they're somewhat versatile, but they're not going to be anywhere remotely close to what a skid steer can be. So I don't know. Do you have Do you have anything specific that you're looking for? Because the other aspect of that is when you start getting into the versatility of a backhoe, backhoes typically won't come with a quick coupler from the factory unless you order it specifically. And then you've got to figure out whether you're going to go with a manual or a hydraulic quick coupler. Because if it doesn't have one from the factory, you're going to be buying aftermarket in order to hook up any attachments, and your old loader bucket isn't going to work anymore. You've got to go buy a quick attach loader bucket that's going to work with your quick coupler that you bought. So that's another aspect of the backhoe that kind of makes it, it's almost, if you didn't get it from the factory that way, it's almost not worth really getting into, just because by the time you buy the coupler and the new bucket, you're probably close to 10,000, I don't know, 8 to 10,000 deep on just having a quick coupler and a bucket. And then whatever attachments you want on top of that, it's going to cost you additional. Maybe 8's a little steep, but I bet you're all of 6 or 7 by the time you do a quick attach and the loader bucket. So just follow it on Spotify. We'll let you know next week and what I think. I'll just write it down in my basement notepad. Yeah. Touche. So I do appreciate you subscribing, guys. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want some topics covered. I will say Aaron Witt is going to be on the podcast. I talked to him this past week doing an interview for The Dirt, and he did agree that he'd come on the podcast with us and kind of do kind of a more lax, shoot the shit type interview as opposed to the formal Dirt interview. So that's something I will have to offer down the road. So Merrick, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Hope everything's good down there in Ohio. Ryan, get one of those JCB backhoes that are the size of the skid steer. Yeah, like, I will say, out of all of JCB's machines, those little skid steer backhoes are the ones that I go, I could kind of see that being handy. In super specific, like, narrow cast situations, I could actually see those being kind of handy. Outside of those situations, that would be an absolutely worthless machine. So, Dan, yes, okay, so grapple is a good one. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're talking about going with a grapple, you need to sell your current backhoe, and you need to go get a backhoe that actually has auxiliary hydraulics, unless yours has it. If yours has it, you're in great shape. But to outfit an existing backhoe that does not have front auxiliary hydraulics, it is astronomically expensive to get that kit from whoever the manufacturer is, and then have the shop, the dealership actually put that kit on. Astronomically expensive. Every time when I was selling equipment, every time we had that situation come up, it was actually going to be cheaper for the contractor to sell their current backhoe and get one with factory installed auxiliary front auxiliary hydraulics, which most of the time, not always, but most of the time when it comes with the front auxiliary hydraulics, it also comes with a factory installed quick coupler, so you kind of get that as well at the same time. But yeah, especially with the grapple, you have to have those auxiliary hydraulics up front, and if you don't have them on your current machine, it is you're talking probably $10,000 to $12,000 just to get it outfitted with auxiliary hydraulics going to the front. It's not including quick coupler, the attachment, any of it. That's just to purchase the hydraulic kit and have the dealership install it for you. And it is a technical install. It's not something that you can just kind of slap on the machine. It's pretty involved. So, Ryan, want to join our Gold Rush company? Yeah, the more the merrier. Let's all get rich together on this thing. And really, by get rich, I mean let's all share the price tag of that D11 and the monster Volvo hoe and the V60 or A60 whatever off-road truck. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's see here. eFix backhoe is nice for a side dump bucket, 4-in-1, forks, and a snowplow. We don't see many with brooms. So we actually started using the brooms on a lot of our paving crews that would come in. We'd set them up with a backhoe because you can do the 4-in-1 bucket. And then we would get them a broom for it too, so that they're not having to shuffle over another machine like a skid or something. And it ended up working really well. So I did forget about the 4-in-1 bucket. Yeah, that's a really common backhoe attachment. I personally hate 4-in-1 buckets. I absolutely despise them because you lose so much capacity and they're so ungodly heavy out on the front of the machine. Unless you're doing asphalt work, I don't want anything to do with a 4-in-1 bucket. I've got my techniques for getting a full bucket without having a bunch of material on the ground. I don't want a clamshell bucket. Unless I'm doing any sort of asphalt work where I have to do nice, tidy cleanouts or closeouts or whatever you want to call it. So, now imagine running a skid steer with an arm off the back. Imagine the damage we could do. Yeah, Brett, isn't that the truth, Ryan? Imagine all of the idiots that are out there now causing damage by backing into things with a skid steer. Boy, put an arm off the back of that and we could have a good old time. And we can make our maintenance bills go way up because you know that backhoe arm is not going to take the abuse like your nice heavily shielded door is. So has anyone brought up the TV620B? No, they have not. And it's funny you say that. We talked about that in our podcast this past week, in episode 2 of the podcast. Sweat and Grime, guys, go subscribe. Sweat and Grime, the podcast. But anyway, it's a tank. It's an absolute tank. It is the biggest skid steer currently on the market. It is the heaviest skid steer currently on the market, and it has the highest bucket breakout force of any machine on the market currently. That being said, it's kind of a goofy machine when you really dig into it, just because, as we all know, or at least a lot of us know, Case came out with the Minotaur, the DL550. That DL550 is kind of the same size. It's the same chassis. It's got the same track frame. Like, they're sister machines. And so I go, okay, if you're going to go spend $120,000, I don't know what the actual price tag is, but let's say that 620B is $120,000. You could get that machine for $120,000, and essentially what you've done is you've loaded yourself up with a skid that requires a triaxle trailer to haul around. Yes, you get a 1.25 yard bucket on that thing, so it is a beast. It is a tank. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's just a really effing heavy skid steer that's got more capacity. Versus, and again, I don't know actual prices, but just throwing out some numbers, let's say you could go get the DL550 with the dozer blade package, and you could get into that for 150 grand. So you've only spent about $30,000 more dollars. You got the same size machine. It technically doesn't have the same lift capacity. You're 1,000 pounds less on the rated operating capacity, but still, like, you've got the beefiness, the tankness, and everything that comes along with that 620. But now you've got the ability to put a full scale, like, coupled to the machine, the frame of the machine dozer blade on it. To me, if I'm a contractor that's looking at that weight class machine, like, why would I fool around with the 620? Why not just step up to the DL550, pay the little extra, get rid of my little dozer? You know, if I got a D3 or a D4 dozer that I use on my finish grades, sell that machine, and now I've got one machine that can do both of those jobs. To me, it seems like more contractors are going to go that route than using this 620B. Because the other thing about it is, they wanted to keep the track width roughly the same as traditional models, so that you have a lot of interchangeability with skid steer attachments. Which, yeah, that's nice that you've got that interchangeability, but at the same time, like, you've already got this monstrous machine. You're not taking full advantage with having a wider track base and a wider bucket and wider attachments. Like, you're not taking advantage of the bigness of the machine because you're trying to stay in this little tiny track package. So when it comes to your Harley rake, you're still Harley raking the same number of passes you would with a smaller skid steer. You know, if you're wanting to do any sort of grading in it, you still got roughly the same bucket width on that machine as you do traditional skid steers. So you're making the same amount of passes. So you don't get the big step ups in width that you would think you would be able to get stepping up in that much bigger of a machine. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the 620. Which, by the way, we do bring up some other points and we get into it pretty good on Sweat and Grime. Chad, sorry, let me get caught back up here. I have 5 years running a Cat 950 for a concrete company. I quit to work with friend. I'm about going back. Will 5 years? Oh, I'm thinking about going back. Will 5 years help me get a job again? And where? You quit to work with a friend. So I guess my question would be, what are you doing with your friend? If it's kind of in the same vein, then 100% that's going to help you out. Even if you have been out of the industry for 5-ish years, you've still got the applicable experience. And in all honesty, right now, with the way the labor market is, I can't imagine it being super difficult to get a job. You might not start right back in the seat. That's something you may just have to accept, is that you may have to spend a little bit of time in a skid steer or on the end of a shovel until you kind of get your feet back under you and the company kind of tries you out. But honestly, I wouldn't worry about getting back into the business. They're hurting bad right now for operators. Oy, allergies, love it. Brandon, we're gonna cause a ton of damage mining for gold. No, Brandon, we won't. That's the beautiful thing about mining for gold on the couple hundred acres we're gonna buy, is there's nothing to cause damage. Like, you're in a D11, you just crush whatever is in front of you. You mow down the trees to where it is a totally flat 200 acres, and then you don't have anything to cause damage unless you run over your JCB with the D11, which is totally intentional. Technically doesn't qualify as damage. Boom, done. Let's see here. 4-1 asphalt only. Shane, 100%. 100%. Oops, I skipped. Let's see here. I'm taking a heavy equipment class in high school. Do you know of any decent companies that I could job shadow? Yeah. Where are you from? That's a very... I know a ton of companies that would love to have you here in Michigan, but I don't know where you are located, so you'll have to be a little more specific. Just don't be like Todd Hoffman. That was an unwatchable train wreck. I have no idea who is Todd Hoffman. Why does that name sound familiar? Hang on. Now I gotta do some looking. Who is Todd Hoffman? Oh, that is one of the guys at gold mining. So, or Gold Rush. So, for those of us who don't watch Gold Rush, Ryan, fill us in on what happened there, because I've never watched that show. I haven't subscribed to cable for God knows how long. A decade at least. Hey Nick, thanks for hanging out, man. It was good to see you. Have a good week, and we'll catch you when things start slowing down a little bit for you. Oh, look at that, Sean. Sean's down for gold mining. Where do I sign up? Got gold, my job. You want me? Sorry. So we got even more guys signing up, Brandon. I'm thinking that by the time we're done with all of this, we'll personally only owe like $600,000 or $700,000 on the equipment, because we're really starting to recruit some guys. This is getting into the realm of doable now. Ryan, skid steers and excavators are dual purpose. Dig with the front, knock down piles with the back. That's it. Absolutely. Ryan, that is a great point. We talk a lot about in this channel how to think outside the box and be versatile in the way that you use your equipment. And a lot of people really like to frown upon the counterweight polishers, but as Ryan just beautifully pointed out, that's just thinking in another dimension. So if you spin that machine around and track backwards straight into that pile, you actually have a semi not effective dozer blade. And what works too is if you want to level yourself a pad, a great technique is to track forward until the pad you really want. In fact, let's back up. You're going to want to take your arm and you're going to want to dig into the pile right in line with your tracks so that you can actually start to straddle the pile with the machine. And then what you can do is just turn that machine 360 degrees, and by the time you spin back around, you will have a nice flat level pad there that you can track up on and get ready to load trucks. So it's really just thinking in a different dimension on how to use your equipment. Great point, Ryan. Great point. Harrison, I'm in Ohio. Unfortunately, I don't know of any. Well, what part of Ohio? Because I do know a couple of companies in Ohio. So specify a little more, because I may have someone in Northeast Ohio, if you're anywhere close, that I could hook you up with. Oh my gosh, we're already through a beer, guys. Good deal. Whew. Good thing I got a backup. All right, so let's see here. eFix, it's the same width as a backhoe at 82 to 83 inches. So as a paving contractor, I see no benefit, but I bet it would rock a slab, crab, or tooth bucket ripping concrete and asphalt. Yeah, that's a good point. I could see some of your concrete and asphalt contractors maybe going after it. The other thing that they advertise a lot for is for municipalities that have right-of-ways that need to be cleared and they want a big, heavy, beefy machine that's also got relatively low ground pressure. Okay. Yeah, I could see that too, but when it comes to your everyday dirt contractors, I just don't really see this being a huge tool for them. I don't see this being a go-to. The other one I thought of is landscape supply yards. Like, you traditionally have a compact loader there that you're loading out trucks with, but with a compact loader, you've got the bigger turn radius. It would be nice to have that kind of lift capacity and that bucket capacity on a skid steer to where you could get in really tight spots, do a 180 degree or 90 degree turn in place, pick up your pallet, turn, get it on the truck in a really tight spot. I can see that being a really good way to utilize those machines, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how the market adopts it. Let's just put it that way. I'm curious to see what contractors really decide to start using that machine for. Let's see here, Ryan. Brief summary of Todd Hoffman. Started as a ragtag crew that struggled, then figured out how to get gold, then rotated between moving countries to find gold, and failed, then go back to the Yukon and repeat. Huh. Yeah, that's, some of those guys just never really learn how to effectively run a business, but I don't know if that's his case or not, but times are pretty tough out there. You got to dig with both ends. Sean, that's a good point. Times are tough, and we're short on operators, which means you've got to be able to be versatile, and you've got to be able to really squeeze any extra productivity out of those machines. And I think what we're talking about is a really great way to do that. So, yeah, fantastic, guys. Keep them coming. These are great ideas. Keep them coming. And sweet Jesus, just so we've got poor Harrison in here, who's probably scratching his head as to what in the F we're talking about. This is all a joke, Harrison. It's all a joke. You don't use the counterweight to move dirt. If you do, you will be ridiculed for the rest of your career. So I say that. You'll be one of, like, I don't know, 30% of the operators out there that still polish their counterweights every day. So you won't be ridiculed. You'll be ridiculed, but you will also be in good company with about 30% of the operators out there. So Cincinnati, son of a bitch. I don't know any contract. Well, Cincinnati's way the F down there, isn't it? Cincinnati. I don't even know how to spell it. Thank God Google covered me on that one. Let me see here. How far outside of Cambridge? What is that, like a half hour, 45-minute drive to Cambridge? No. Nope. I'm thinking of Columbus, aren't I? Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of Columbus. Nope, you're screwed. Sorry, man. I'm sorry, Harrison. I don't know any contractors in that area that I can hook you up with. So that being said, comments, people, if there's anyone that knows a contractor in the Cincinnati area that might be able to help Harrison out. Now, Harrison, I will give you some advice. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and just call around, because right now, showing initiative like that will absolutely go far with these companies. Especially if you're honest with them and say, hey, here's my situation. I'd love to come out and shadow. I think it would not surprise me if you were able to find a company that would be willing to work with. So don't be afraid to pick up that phone, even if no one here gives you a company to call. Let's see here. Dan, another versatile piece of equipment is a backhoe. Took out solid 4 inches out of a small cherry tree when I clipped it with the front bucket. Backhoes are versatile tools. They just suck at everything that they do because they're so versatile that they're not good at anything, which is why I hate backhoes. That's just my personal opinion. Too bad Frank isn't in here to defend himself. Let's see here. Oh, eFix is going to argue with me because someone's always got to be difficult.
That's what she said.
I love the sound effects. I love it. I don't think a track machine would work well in a landscape depot setting. They'd be tearing up the gravel all day with full pallet doing 90 to 180 degree turns. I agree. I do agree. But you would at least have the option of doing the 90-degree turn versus in a compact loader. You've got to have those rows spaced out pretty well, and you can get into some situations where it's kind of a pain in the ass. I just think you'd have a little extra maneuverability there. I would not say, yeah, let's go do 90-degree turns and make all of our aisleways tight enough that you have to do 90-degree turns. But, you know, it was a thought, damn it, eFix. It was just a thought. Why are you... I don't know why you're up my ass about this whole thing.
What? You son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's the right sound effect. Son of a bitch. Ryan, let's dig. Would cry looking at us talking about intentionally backing into piles. You know, I think he would get a good chuckle out of it, Ryan. If there's one thing I've kind of gauged from all of his videos, I think Chris has got a pretty decent sense of humor. So I do think he would get a nice chuckle out of all of us. And then a nice solid eye roll, I think, is what we would get out of Chris. So, Connor, also in skid steers, you can just wheelie and drag the ass to level out the dirt. That's true. You know, that's a good point, Connor. You could do that. You could. I didn't even. So Connor has actually, you know, we're thinking in 3 dimensions right now, and Connor has added a 4th dimension that I didn't even think about. In the things that you could do while doing tricks in the machine. So doing a wheelie, I know exactly what he's saying. So you would wheelie the machine and just drag your ass across the lot, and that would be a solid way to grade. Man, you're in a parallel universe with your complexity of thinking there, Connor. I have to applaud you for that one. That's nice. eFix, it just can't be land clearing machine. I don't know, eFix. It might just be a land clearing machine. We'll see. I don't know. Like I said, when it comes to anything dirt, you might as well step up to the Minotaur. So that's what Rick and I talk about in the podcast. Is I think they've kind of, it was one of those things where like, hey, we've got this really great DL 550. We should make a skid steer with it. And they kind of went that direction thinking about how cool it would be without thinking about whether or not they should. And believe me, I'd love to be wrong about this. I would love for this to be kind of a first of the next generation of skid steers where we step up into these big machines that are capable of doing a lot more. But at the same time, I go, the whole reason skid steers own the market in the area that they do is because they are the smaller footprint machines. They can fit behind a gooseneck trailer or a little tag trailer behind your pickup. You don't have to have a dump truck to haul them around. But with a 16,000 pound machine, like, you can't haul that sucker around on a little tag trailer anymore. You're committed to buying a dump truck and hauling that sucker around. I don't remember all of my weights and classifications, but I think you'd be stretching it on a gooseneck even behind a dually. In all honesty, I don't know that you can handle it. Maybe you could. I don't know. How much is a 580 weight? I don't even remember. Case 580 Super in. Let's take a look, guys. And one of you guys is probably answering me in the comments, but I'm going to waste my time looking for it on the internet. Because that's how we do it here on Diesel and Iron, ladies and gentlemen. That is how I agree. I agree to your cookies. So, view. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at the spec sheet. Give me just a second here. And it's been a while since I've looked at one of these spec sheets. Holy crap. I got to find the weight. Where are you? Operating weight. 17,000 pounds. Okay, so maybe you could haul it behind a gooseneck. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here, Ryan. It was funny watching him lay in a dirt perfect for all the mud on the counterweight of his Volvo. I need to go watch that one, Ryan. I did not see that one. Honestly, I've been so stinking busy. I've had a hard time keeping up on everyone's videos, but I need to go watch that. I did notice he's been putting out videos with Dirt Perfect, so those guys would be fun to go hang out with for a couple days. I think between the two of them playing off of each other, that'd be a good time. eFix, I hear you, man. I understand. I'm a Case fanboy with you. I think it's awesome they've got this. Don't get me wrong. I want to go play in one. I 100% want to go play in one. And I want to have the big ding-a-ling contest to where I can go, I got a 620B. My skid steer can basically just lift your skid steer and move it out of the way if I need to. Like, that's awesome and all. But I'm trying to think about it from the practical, like, contractor standpoint too. And that's where I just go, man, that's just a weird size machine for what they've got it out there for. Oh my Lord, guys, I'm sorry. Oh my Lord, I'm sorry. I really am, sort of. I'm mostly sorry. I don't even have a sound effect for that.
You done messed up, Aaron!
That'll work. What field are you in, Efix, by the way? I don't know that I've ever asked. Danby, 11-ish tons. 11-ish tons? Sweet Jesus, man. Are we still talking about the same, like a backhoe? Because 11 tons, that's a 22,000 pound machine. I don't think it's that heavy. Maybe the 590. The 590 might be getting there. I still don't think that's 22,000. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass now because comments are dwindling and I'm running out of material to talk about. So I'm just going to milk this one for all it's worth. I don't know how heavy a 590 backhoe is, but I'm also too lazy to look it up even though I'm running out of things to talk about. But since I'm out of things to talk about before you guys carry the conversation in the comments, your dad's machine is 12 tons. What machine does he have? 12 tons. Good Lord, that is a heavy effing backhoe. Good night. Let's look. Case 590. So the 590 Super N. Let's see here. Come on, baby. So this is impressive. The 590 Super N has a bucket breakout force of 16,000 pounds. That new 620 has a breakout force of 12,000 pounds. So you're getting almost the same breakout force. Not quite, but almost the same breakout force as a 590 back. That's pretty damn impressive. That's really damn impressive. 21,000 pounds. No, so that's getting right up there. Because by the time you add the cab and the additional counterweights, yeah. No shit. I had no idea. I sold them. I should know. Oh, yeah, you're talking 688. Okay. But yeah, that's I didn't know that the 590 weighed so much. I really didn't. Even though I sold them. I'm sorry. I've dropped the ball, guys. I've dropped the ball. Ooh, Ryan, digging a pool in the rain. No thanks. We technically did this last week. I told you guys about that basement dig that we dug. It was 8.5 foot deep, 1,800 square feet, and we filled that sucker within 2 feet of the top with rainwater. It was a good time. Took us with three 3-inch pumps. It took us 12 hours to pump that sucker down. We're guesstimating it had about 80,000 gallons of water in it. 70 to 80,000. And that's just a total guess. Fire them from the hip. 680H. 680H. Is that a dozer? I'm sorry. I'm like, my brain's just crapping out. No, that is a case backhoe. No joke. 680H. No. In fact, we're gonna go to images. I want to see the image. Ooh, that's an old girl. Well, no wonder she was so heavy. That's when they were literally just like, they just cast them in one giant piece of iron back in the day. Like, it's not. I wouldn't be surprised if you were encroaching upon like a D9 in weight with one of those old backhoes. Let's see here. Connor, we might not be kids, but Lego just came out with a D11. They did? Yeah, I'm kind of with Ryan. The D11 the Lego D11 is probably going to be the equivalent, if not more, than the die-cast model. If I had to guess. Because Lego, I love Legos. 100% love them. They're expensive. They're very proud of themselves for making those little plastic bricks. So, I'll shamelessly plug, if you let me. but we do small to medium concrete and paving projects. So parks, condos, some municipal sidewalk programs, driveways, parking lots up to 200 ton. Well, if you're going to plug, give us your location and your company name. I mean, plug away, man. I'm all for supporting any of you guys. In fact, I was talking to someone the other day that, I don't know, it was probably a month or so ago that he was in here and he plugged his YouTube channel and everyone kind of gave him shit for it. I did too, but it was all in jest and good fun. And he said, I felt bad because he sent me a message. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do anything and I didn't mean to upset anyone. Plug away, guys. I have no problem. Shane Lever Monkey that's in here and is chatting in and off and on. Go check out his channel. You had Dirt Boss in here and Dozer Dennis. Go check out their channels. Like, I'm all for plugging. So, eFix, give us your company name and your location, my man. Ryan, and to top it all off, they built up the backyard with pure topsoil. So we have 5 feet of topsoil to dig out of. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. So you can't have organics under anything weight bearing. Yeah. Oh, look at Shane even owns up to it. Yeah. Hell yeah, I did. That's awesome. But yeah, Ryan, that sucks when you've got to. Are you guys having to over excavate the hole and then fill it back in with stone or sand, or is it kind of at least timing out to where you're able to kind of be at depth when you get through that topsoil? Oh, and here comes Matt. Like, we're just talking about plugging channels, Matt, and you show up just in time to plug your channel. Like, plug away. Good to see you, Matt. How are things at the new job? I know you said they won't let you film, which sucks, but how are you liking it, and what kind of jobs are you guys working on? So, Shane, just return the favor. Yeah. Well, you know, I'll come bombard your channel at some point on one of your live streams. In fact, you need to tell me when one of your live streams is at some point. I need to come visit your live stream. That way I can plug my channel. Damn it. I need to get my back scratched out of this whole thing. Come on.
Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond, I don't know. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
I love it. I love this new toy. It's so much fun. And it's only going to get worse as I add more sound effects. It's only going to get worse, guys. Subscribe to the podcast. So for all of those of you who, apparently we're getting a little deep in the beer now. For those of you who are just joining, Rick and I officially launched our podcast this past week called Sweat and Grime. Spotify, iTunes, whatever podcasting application you use. If you go search Sweat and Grime, go subscribe to us. We've got 3 episodes up. That way, I didn't want to launch it with just one because that's not enough to get a good feel for what we're doing. So we've got 3 episodes up. So feel free, go subscribe to that. It'll give you something to do in your cab this week while you are mindlessly moving dirt around. So, luckily the pool's on a slope, so the topsoil worked out fine to end at the depth of the shallow end. So at least you got that going for you, Ryan. Because what really sucks is when you're in a situation like the first time I went out and visited Carson. Ironically, I'm wearing his shirt tonight, Shifsky. That basement, we had to dig out the organics that the original land balancing contractor didn't do. And let's see here, they dug down 4.5 feet in that basement on average, and then we had to fill it all back with sand. So at least you weren't in that situation. So anyway, Dirty Miner Apparel. Wow, thank you. So we are on Gold Rush. So let's see here. Thanks for the donation, by the way. So Dirty Miner Apparel. Let's go check them out. That's cool. Which, why can't I can't click on you, which I don't. Oh, I can't click on anybody. So that shows you what a YouTube amateur I am. I've never tried to click on someone's profile before, and now, so Dirty Miner Apparel. While we're at plugin, let's go check out Dirty Miner Apparel. But thanks for the donation, by the way. See, Shane, Matt, I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to call you guys out. Dirt Boss, you know, at least when this guy plugs, he pays up. He's paying for rights to plug. I'm gonna have to start just charging you guys. Maybe you'll just see an invoice in the mail. But no joke. Thank you for the donation on the show. So if you guys want, go check out their apparel. And that's cool that you guys are on Gold Rush. That's awesome. What a small world. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's see here. I call you Dignation because I'm reading your name, Matt. Things are great. We're on an apartment complex, running all the pipe right now, learning all the ins and outs of Fireline. That would be kind of interesting. I have never messed with Fireline whatsoever. That would be actually really interesting to kind of learn. Ryan, but the patio added like 8 triaxle loads to bucket out with a skid steer, and it takes 40 minutes to load the truck. You know, it wouldn't take that long if you had a new 620, Ryan. So there you go. Tell your and he doubles down, everybody. He doubles down. I appreciate it, my man. Look at that. You guys go check out Dirty Miner Apparel. In fact, I may go check it out and buy a shirt off of him because he just contributed $20 to the show. That's awesome. I appreciate it. I really do. Genuinely, I appreciate it. But yeah, Ryan, your 620, if you had a 620, you wouldn't take forever. So you need to start harping on your boss that he needs to go buy one of these new 620s. That way, eFix and I will feel better about ourselves because someone has found a new purpose for this machine that we're not sure people are going to utilize to its full potential. I'm just saying, we're making lemonade out of lemons right now, guys. Patio needs to be built up above existing grade, so that's a ton of material to bring back in, 1 bucket at a time. It wouldn't be if you had the 620. 1.25 yards every pass, baby. And that's not even heaped. If you heaped it, I bet you could get 1.5 yards on it. Go talk to your boss. This job might even pay for it. Who knows? Connor, we're putting in a meter pit with a booster pump for a college. It's impressive to say the least. Yeah, you're getting into stuff I've never dabbled in. And that's where I get excited, is because that's fun to me. So to go in and learn something totally new. Which, speaking of Dirty Miner Apparel, get us involved in Gold Rush. There you go. Put out some feelers there and just be like, hey, that guy from Diesel and Iron, he come up and run a D11 for free. I'll run a D11 for free for those guys, just for the sake of getting a D11. You know, I'm just saying, we've got connections. You know, we got to help each other out. And by help each other out, I mean you help me get in the seat of a D11, because that's a lifelong goal. It's a dream. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. Little Finkel, what's happened, my man? Good to see you again. Glad you were able to make it. We've only got, 20-ish minutes in the live stream left, but thanks for coming out. Do I accept? Matt, I will take all the Monopoly money you will send this way, because my children have lost all of our Monopoly money. So that actually will have a material impact to my household to receive Monopoly money. So I do appreciate the contribution, even if it is in false currency. Ryan, Kubota SVL 75 is a little undersized. Thank God it's a bigger cab. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. The beer. Like I told you, the beer. Oh, and he triples down. My God. Okay, I actually will. I do appreciate it. Honestly, Dirty Miner Apparel. I will shoot you a message, if for no other reason than to just network, because, you know, you're in this game. You know how it works. It's just good to network and know people. But yeah, I would absolutely love to chat with you guys. Sorry, everyone. Most of my regular subscribers know I keep a notepad for writing myself notes, and I'm writing a note to make sure I reach out to you at some point tomorrow. So yeah, I appreciate it. Fred Lewis, next season, if you're military, we need to chat. Unfortunately, I'm not military, unfortunately, but I still want to chat with you, because, yeah, it's all about networking. In this game, it's all about networking. So, by the way, guys, go check out Dirty Mining Apparel. He has now contributed $40 to tonight's chat, which is awesome. I cannot say thank you enough. It's really awesome. So go check out his apparel, because that's exactly what I'm going to do as soon as I get off the live stream tonight, because I'm genuinely curious what you got. Where are we? See you next week if I remember to join the live. Hey, Dan B, thanks for hanging out, brother. Appreciate it. Ryan, making me feel broke over here. Me too. Like, legit. I feel broke too. And he's contributing to me, and I still feel broke. eFix, we're out of Ottawa, Canada. Strata Construction Group. There's your full-on plug, everybody. So go check out Strata Construction Group in Ottawa, Canada. Or I'm sorry, eFix, I totally screwed up your plug. So this is Brian Furness with Diesel and Iron, and I'm here to tell you about Strata Construction Group out of Ottawa, Canada. These guys special in... I can't even talk. See, you should have hit me up for this like before we really got rolling on the beer, because now I'm having a hard time. So let me scroll back up here to where we talked about what you do. Okay, here we go. This is Brian from Diesel and Iron, and I'm here to talk to you about Strata Construction Group out of Ottawa, Canada. These guys do a fantastic job with medium paving and concrete jobs. They do everything from parks to condos to municipal sidewalk programs. So if you have anything you need on the concrete or paving side that's up to 200 tons in quantity, give these guys a call. And my good friend eFix here will help work you through that process. He will personally come out and work on your project. Did it work? Did it work? You tell me. I'm assuming starting tomorrow morning you will be overwhelmed with calls. Is what I'm gonna predict here. So we'll see. Brandon, if Brian's going to run a D11, I want to come with. You got to pay for your own airfare, man. You can't just ride my coattails around, Brandon. I know I'm on to you. I know what you're doing here. You're trying to ride my coattails so that you can get in the seat of that D11 too. You're gonna have to pay for your own airfare, brother. All right. I'm happy to share the seat next to you, but you're gonna have to pay for that seat. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about you paying for your seat, but I am kidding about you riding my coattails. We're friends. We're friends, Brandon. You're all good. Little Finkel, anything new in the world of equipment? Seen where Doosan was advertising their all battery lineup. Oh, yes. Finkel, there's all sorts of stuff going on in the equipment world right now. So, you've got Cat has just come out with their D11 XE. So they actually have the electric drive motors on that machine. That's a huge thing that's come out. You've got, let's see, I think Kubota and Komatsu. I don't remember who the other one is. Both of them have electric minis out. Case has actually, believe it or not, had an electric backhoe out for a year or two. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is exactly what most of us suspected with electric equipment. You can't really do a full production day with it. It's really geared towards municipalities who are going to go out and run the machine for an hour or two, sit for 4 hours, and then run the machine for an hour or two, and then run it back to the yard. So you only get, I want to say, like 6 or 7 real hours of like hard work out of the machine before the batteries are completely depleted. So, so you've got that going on. You've got, like we were just talking about earlier, Case has officially come out and announced their TV 620B skid steer, which is the biggest skid steer on the market. It's also got the highest bucket breakout force on the market, and I want to say the highest hinge pin height. Don't quote me on that one, but I think. So yeah, you got all sorts of stuff going on. Let's see here, what else? Terex. If you guys aren't aware, Terex rock trucks, so the articulated dump trucks, got bought out by Volvo, and they have rebranded them over to another name, and I cannot remember the name. What is it called? Rockback, ROKBAK, I think, is what they rebranded to. And this is pure speculation. I'm not quoting this off of any real information, pure speculation. I personally believe they rebranded because the Terex articulated dump trucks were hot garbage. They had a ton of issues, and so I think what's happening is Volvo's kind of trying to rebrand and then put in some of their tweaks and fixes so that they don't have the issues, but they're also not associated with the old Terex name. Total speculation on my part. So you got that going on. Man, what else? I think there's all sorts of stuff. Cat just came out with just another iteration of their Cat Command Center that now I think you can control. I think you can do loaders, dozers, and excavators through their Cat Command Center, which I'm really hopeful we are trying through the dirt over on Equipment World. We are trying to get me in the seat of one of the CAT command centers. Really, really hoping that that works out, because I would love to not only do that for the dirt, but actually have some of the footage for my channel here. That would be really sweet. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, man. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Make a trip for the channel, RSVP or miss out. Let's book a private jet and all. So that's actually a really interesting idea, Ryan. I don't know how feasible it would be for anybody to pull away from work and be able to do that. That being said, I'd totally be down for going and doing a channel trip, like where we all arrive at some place. We've got kind of a group of rooms, a block of rooms, and then we went out and did something. And you know, in all honesty, I've got contacts with Randy out in Minnesota. He's got in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's got a facility, and he's got another one in Dallas, Texas. And it's Extreme Sandbox. If you guys have seen him on YouTube, I actually know him personally and have spoken with him. Maybe we could arrange to go do some event at one of his locations. So let me know if you guys are kind of semi-serious about doing something like that. I would be more than happy to put together a trip like that and try to schedule something to where we could all kind of do a meet and greet, hang out, and then do some sort of a competition with the equipment. I'd be down. And I would love it if one of you guys just totally spanks me in the competition. I'm all for it. That would be a blast. So it won't be going to Alaska, but I think Minneapolis or Dallas, Texas would be a lot more affordable for most people. So that's a thought, Ryan. I'm going to write it down. Channel trip. And I'm going to put like four question marks behind it, because I don't know. I don't know how doable that is for everyone. But you really just piqued my interest. You really piqued my interest there. Efix, I'm glad to help, man. If you want, I can pull this clip out and I can send it to you guys as a company, and then I'll charge you like $8,000 for the advertisement. And, you know, that plays into my business. So, man, look at you. Man, look at Dirty Mining Apparel. I think he's just trying to buy us now. Like, this is just getting ridiculous. Honestly, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. This is awesome. This is we're up to $60 tonight, so that's awesome. So yeah, this is boy, you're leaving me a little speechless here, because generally don't get donations on these, and when I do, it's only about $20. So that's awesome. Very excited. But yeah, let's actually really start that conversation. I'm trying to think of the best way to do that at kind of a centralized location. Maybe I'll make a video. In fact, I might do that this week. I might make a video and post it talking about a channel trip. And we can at least start coordinating. Boy, I got to think about the logistics of setting something like that up. And I've also got to kind of get a feel and a gauge for who would sign up. Yeah. Boy, you really got me noodling on this one. I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping tonight, because I'm gonna be thinking about this while I'm laying in bed. I'm gonna be like, oh, how do we arrange that? How can I? Okay. Yeah, that would be fun. So Ryan, that's the cool thing. If we go to Randy's place, yeah, you'll absolutely get in a dozer. You don't have to have experience to get into the dozer out there. Like that's what they do. Extreme Sandbox is made for guys to walk in, get a crash safety course, and then go out there and run equipment. All of their equipment is equipped with external remote kill switches. So if you get yourself into trouble, they can kill the machine right there. They have cars and stuff that you can demolish. Like it's made for doing like corporate events. So for all of us to go out there with at least some knowledge of the industry would actually be a step up from the clientele they normally get. So I don't think they'd really worry about us getting in the machines. So Shane, that would be fun. Not sure I could get time though. If it was a weekend, Mike could swing it. Shane, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is maybe we schedule this. In fact, ideally, I think we try to schedule this maybe next winter, when everyone's really slow in the north. Generally in the southern states, you do slow down just a little bit. And maybe we could schedule it over the course of a weekend. So everybody fly in like Friday and stay till Monday, fly back out Monday, and we could maybe use the facility for Saturday and Sunday. So let me know if you guys are interested. Now I got to talk to Randy and see how that would work exactly and what he'd charge and see how we could break that up and make it manageable for everyone. I'm thinking everyone would pretty much be responsible. We could get a block of rooms and everything, but everyone would be responsible for flights, for airfare and hotel. And then we could do something, I don't know. I'll work with Randy we'll keep chatting. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Let's see here. Lever Monkey think I should do a live stream after yours. You know, if you invite Dirty Mining Apparel, he's feeling real generous because he just popped us for another $10. So Shane, I would say make sure you invite Dirty Miner Apparel over there, because he is very generous this evening. Another $10. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. That's awesome. Let's see here. That would be fun. Let's see here. Sean got that. Shane, big excavator seat for me too. Ryan, I like the extreme sandbox idea. They have space and equipment so we can basically do what we want within reason. 100%. That would be the fun thing about extreme sandbox is they're already used to hosting corporate events. So when it comes to competitions and like things to do, they've already got a lot of that set up. And if we needed to do anything extra, it would be really easy to integrate that in. So, eFix offers me a great deal for cutting a clip to a meager 8,000. So Jolty for 6. That's right, eFix. Brandon, you are correct. There's actually a handful of those companies around the country. You've got one out in Jersey, I can't remember the name of. You've got one in Vegas that I can't remember the name of. They all roughly kind of have something to do with dirt or sand in the name. And they all kind of work roughly the same. So, Dirty Dan, my God, man, it has been a while. Good to see you, brother. That's awesome. I'm assuming your season's slowing up just a little bit if you were able to make it on. That's awesome. Excited to have you here. Tim, I'm up for that trip. Went from working in rock for 3 years to working on a road milling crew. Need to play in the dirt. Okay, you guys, like I said, you guys are you're really starting to make me think and noodle on this one. So let me see what we can do. And I gotta figure out, like, it's funny because my fear is not enough people would show up, but at the same time, the channel's got, I think we're up to 13,000 subscribers now. Let's look. So maybe my fear should go the other way, that too many people, yeah, we're at 13, almost 13.3 thousand subscribers. No, I think we could pull this off. And the more the merrier, right? Because that gets all of our costs down. So let me do some noodling, guys. I'll reach out to Randy and see what that would look like. Ryan, now you got me excited. I'll just keep messaging you until it happens. Ryan, you may find yourself on the block list unknowingly. And I won't say anything, so you can just keep messaging me, and maybe periodically I'll pop in there and respond one time. That way I lead you on like you're being listened to and you're being heard. But in reality, you're just going to the junk box. It makes me a nice person, doesn't it? Oh, that's good. So yeah, I think we came away with a real nugget tonight. I'm going to talk about that on the podcast too. Which, by the way, I'm going to plug it again. If you haven't listened, Sweat and Grime, it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on any of your podcasting apps. Check out Sweat and Grime. Subscribe. We've got 3 episodes up. We're going to post once a week. I think we're going to post Tuesday nights. So you've got something for Wednesday to kind of break up your week and have in the cab that you can listen to. I know a lot of you guys actually use the live stream that way, which is really kind of what got me going this direction originally. Was I've noticed a lot of you guys that don't even make the live stream official consistently listen on Mondays. You just put it in the cab on your phone and set it off to the side. And so that was kind of my whole reasoning with the podcast, is if you guys are already treating this as a podcast, which is not meant to be, you know, we do a lot of visual, I say we don't do a lot of visual stuff, but still enough that it's not geared towards listening. And so what we wanted to do, what Rick and I wanted to do is kind of gear something towards listening. And so that's why we did the podcast, and that's why we're releasing it on Tuesday nights, is so it'll be ready for you on Wednesday morning and kind of break that week up for you. So, that's right, Ryan. I'd miss you. I would. That, and you live close enough that you could probably track me down, and you know, it might get dangerous. I don't know. I'm not willing to take the risk. Oh, let's see here. Brandon's there. Brandon says he's there. You got to leave your boa constrictors at home, Brandon. I'm just going to tell you that right now. There's no snakes allowed in this trip. I'm sorry. I don't want to be offensive, but that's generally frowned upon in hotels. Dirty Dan, season 8 slowing up a bit. Usually working Saturdays and sometimes Sundays trying to catch up due to a bunch of roadblocks. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But at the same time, I'm super flattered that even with all of those ridiculous hours, you chose to come hang out for a little bit today. I really do appreciate that. So, I do hope the season slows down for you a little bit. We are starting to get into the slower. No, let's be honest. We're getting into the last minute push. That's where we're at. And now you're going to start working the crazy hours trying to get everything done before all of the deadlines drop. So, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. I feel you. Kayla, you are a new live stream attendee. Thank you for showing up. Just started driving an off-road dump truck, green AF, because I'm not going to say it.
That's what she said.
That'll work. So I'm randomly hitting sound effects over here because I don't have them labeled, and that one worked out really well. Let's see here. What can I do to help my nerves when dumping on awkward slopes? I can't feel the weight on my back, and I don't know what's safe when backing up to the piles. So, great question, first of all, because we've all, and you do need to know, we've all been there. All of us started out green. All of us were super nervous the first time we started dumping on piles, especially in an articulated dump, because it feels like you're going to tip over at any second. You don't need to sweat it. The best answer to this question is seat time and watching what the other operators are able to do. So, you do need to know. I know this isn't going to super calm your fears, but at least it might help. At the end of the day, I'm assuming, and verify in the comments if you will, I'm assuming you're running the articulated dump trucks that actually swivel in the middle. In which case, I will confidently tell you, almost everyone, not everyone, but almost everyone has laid one of those over on their side at some point in time. And they are made to lay over on their side. The box of that truck articulates independent of the cab because they are designed to dump on rough terrain. They built them knowing that they were going to tip over. So, all that to say, I'm not saying go push the limit, but at the same time, don't panic that if it does go over, you've done something terrible, you're going to get fired and you're going to get yelled at, and there is a chance your foreman will come over and get a little heated with you because you're costing production, you're costing time, but at the same time, you are not going to destroy that machine because it tips over while you're dumping on a pretty extreme slope. Now, as far as knowing how extreme of a slope you can dump on, my piece of advice is, as you start backing up your pile wherever you're going to dump, we're talking about an articulated dump truck. You can crank that wheel over and pretty well line that truck up on the slope. And so if you get on a really sketchy slope that you're a little worried about, what you can do is kind of crank the wheel over to straighten it out a little bit. And if you can't straighten it out, you can at least angle your cab off to the side that it's going to try to roll over to and brace it just a little bit. I wouldn't really recommend doing that too hard because if it decides to go over, you don't want to have it come into contact with the cab portion of the truck and damage anything. But at the same time, you can kind of angle that truck to kind of at least get yourself a little more leveled out. But that being said, you can dump those things on some pretty ridiculous slopes. I have, no joke, dumped one of those trucks where, I don't know, 20% of the load actually came out over the side rail as opposed to going out of the back of the truck. So you can get you can get a little dicey with those trucks before they really go over. And that's another thing just to keep in mind with all equipment is they feel far tippier than they actually are. Most pieces of equipment are built with a very, very low center of gravity so that they won't tip over because they're made for going on slopes. And these rock trucks are no different. Yeah, you're sitting way up there in the air, but at the same time, they've got a pretty stinking low center of gravity. So just take it easy, go nice and slow. Don't put yourself way outside of your comfort zone, but at the same time, realize when you're operating any piece of equipment, as you grow in your operational abilities, especially when you're green, you will have to challenge your comfort zone. There will be times. Sorry, with all the beer, I've got a little bit of spit, and it's making it a little uncomfortable to talk. I'm sorry. So we're gonna take another drink of beer to fix that, because that's how that works, right? But all that to say, you will have to kind of challenge yourself in some situations, and you're gonna throw that box up in the air on one of these slopes that you're like, man, it's 50-50. This could go either way. In those situations, don't hit your gas pedal. Take it up at idle and really pay attention, not to the box itself, but pay attention to the chassis, the tires, and start to look and see how much that weight's really shifting. And if you really start to see a big shift in weight, drop that box back down. You can save it. And that's how you're going to kind of slowly over time get a really good feel for when you start getting dicey and where you're really starting to push that limit. That's about the best advice I can give you, other than watch what the other drivers are doing. And if you see one tip, in a pretty tippy situation, but they're able to dump with no problem, just make a mental note of kind of what that looked like and what that pitch looked like on the ground. And that way, next time you're in that situation, you can go, oh, okay, I should be okay. We'll go slow, but I should be okay. I hope that helps out. Let's see here. Where are we at in the comments? Boom. So we're back up at Shane. He was talking to Dirty Miner Apparel, which, thank you again, Dirty Miner Apparel. Genuinely, I do appreciate it. Little Finkel, hope everyone has a fun and profitable week. Channel's growing. Sandbox sounds great. I'm assuming you took off, but if you're still here, Little Finkel, thanks for hanging out. Your boas. Sorry, boss. Your boas are your emotional support. I don't think that flies on a plane. That was a nice pun, wasn't it? That was a really nice pun. I don't think that flies on a plane.
Got him!
I love the sound effects. Wild hours till Christmas. Efix, okay, I'm out. See you next weekend. Hopefully, don't forget American Pavement. Write it on your upstairs. Efix, this will make it upstairs, I promise. I promise this week it will make it upstairs. Ryan, yep, got thrown in a landfill and a skid steer. Spent my whole days on slopes. I was barely able to track up. That was also my introduction to slopes and a skid steer, just slow and steady. Anytime you're in a situation where you're, excuse me, I'm sorry with the beer, guys. It's got me all burpy tonight. I'm sorry. I'm an animal. Yeah, anytime you're in an uncomfortable situation, just go slow. Just go nice and slow. And honestly, it's okay to ask. It's okay to get out of the cab and say, hey, can I dump on this slope? I have done that before. When I was brand new to running trucks, I got out of the truck and went and talked to another driver and said, hey, with where I'm sitting right now, can I dump? Is it going to be okay? And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. Okay, throw the box up. No big deal. 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. I'm going to go down to Kayla's thank you very much comment, and then I'm done. We're calling it, guys, because it's 9 o'clock already. Let's see here. Bump. Little Finkel, there are constrictions on that relationship. Oh, Finkel, that was, woo, boy, that was a nice pun. That was very tasteful. Brush the dust off the seatbelt. That's another great thing. Yeah, if you're worried about going over, put your seatbelt on. 100%. There is nothing shameful about that. Dirty Dan, we dump on some really sketchy stuff out here, bud. You'll be okay. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, that's the thing with those articulated trucks. They're designed to go over. The articulated trucks can go over. That box will be just fine. The only thing you are causing is a little bit of time for the hoe to track over there and get you upright again. You're not costing thousands and thousands of dollars in damage. Like, these are hardened steel boxes. They ain't going anywhere. So, Bran and Finkel, my snakes are awesome, and Mellow too. They love to be handled.
That's what she said.
I told you I'm way gonna overuse that. I'm sorry. That's just such a great sound effect. My brother used to love driving down the highway with his around his neck and windows down to freak people out passing by. Yeah, I'm sorry, Brandon. I mean this with sincere love and respect. Snake people are just weird. I'm just gonna say it. Snake people are weird. I don't get it. Snakes are cool. I don't have a desire to own one or walk around with one on my neck. And again, brother, I say that in love because we're friends. but you're weird. Let's see here. Kayla, absolutely. Ryan, there's my line. Guys, I'm out. Thanks for the great live stream. Thanks again to, let me go back, Dirty Miner Apparel. Thank you guys again for all the contributions. I will be reaching out to you guys just to touch base. You guys have a fantastic week. Make sure you go subscribe to Sweat and Grime so that you have something to listen to this week in the cab. We'll have a new episode out for you on Tuesday night. Have a great week, guys. We'll see ya.